It's hard to believe that the school year is off and running and we're almost to the first quarter. These days pass so quickly, but they're not without their challenges. I know for many of you, you're trying to get used to a totally new reading series, a new way of accessing assessments. For some of you, there's different report cards, different way of recording grades, all the pose challenges that frankly many people in the community are not aware of, but can have an impact on you in causing stress. So I really want to encourage everyone and thank everyone for hanging on, continuing to work through those problems as we try to figure out how to support the students in our classrooms. And certainly you've been doing an excellent job with that. We'll start to hear about the referendum vote, something that is so critical to the budget of our school district, bringing over $40 million every year. Certainly that has allowed us to really keep our promise to the community of having appropriate pay for our teachers, making sure we have the arts in our schools, guidance counselors as much as possible, even assistant principals in schools that have high levels of poverty. All of those things are critical to the success that we've enjoyed. When you look at the total scores, we rank number 3 in the state, something to be very proud of, particularly when you know in our latest free and reduced lunch rate, we are at over 52% of our students, our families are living in poverty. Those students certainly bring more challenges to our schools. Yet, just last week, we had one of our elementary schools recognized by a consortium of over 37 other districts as being one of those schools that really exceeded expectations despite high levels, over 90% living in poverty. Alta Vista has been recognized as one of those schools, and they'll be bringing a team there to look at the best practices that are occurring on that campus, just like at many of our Title I schools, and yet that those practices might be shared with other Title I schools. Really something that we all should feel proud of. There is a petition that is going around where they're asking different organizations in the community to sign this petition, concerned about some of the outcomes of the school district, perhaps that we haven't closed that achievement gap, asking for a separate group to oversee the district processes relative to the referendum. And we have, right at this moment, a community group that does oversee the way we spend our dollars, giving us advice from the business world. Our financial advisory committee is such a committee. They set their own agenda and they give us advice and advise the school board in how to make appropriate decisions. Part of what is very important in the passage of the referendum is the trust the community has placed in us to focus those dollars on the classroom so that we can achieve the outcomes that I just clearly demonstrated, but also that we are very transparent in how we spend those dollars. In fact, you can go on our website and you can see since 2002 how we have spent specifically every year those referendum dollars. We want to be transparent. We want the community to see that we were living up to those promises. So what can we do as an organization to help encourage everyone to understand the good things that are happening in our school district and why we need those critical dollars to continue with that March 25th vote? First and foremost, we can make sure that our constituents are all registered to vote. Do you know as many as 50% of our parents may not be registered? Many of our staff members are not registered to vote. That's critical and must be done before that 30 days prior to the vote occurs. So if we can get that message out, that's key. And then frankly, the other piece is that everyone needs to vote, however you choose to. We as a governmental agency, we can't tell people how to vote. We can make sure they have the information and we can encourage however they want to vote, that they go to the polls or an absentee ballot or early voting. And they say how they want this community, this school district to run in this community. So those are things that you're going to be hearing more about as you become educated as a staff person and can educate those around you about the good things happening in our school district. We don't need to be defensive. We can show positive results that have, I believe, can be attributed to those dollars that have helped us buffer through some very difficult economic times. Our focus is on today. What can we do each day for that classroom of students to help them achieve their highest potential? And I see much evidence that that is occurring. Whether you're driving the bus to provide that support to students to get them safely to schools, whether you're keeping our classrooms clean, whether you're providing a nutritious lunch, all the many, many ways that we support what happens in that classroom. I think we have much to be proud of. I believe the community agrees with that. So as we move forward, let's feel positive and optimistic about our future. Thank you.